Hello, pup parents, and welcome to today's episode of the Perfect Pup Podcast. My name is Devin. This episode, very important. I'm going to go over 5 different types of enrichment. We talk a lot about enrichment, and we'll usually break it down just kind of mental or physical. But I want to dive into an article that I read from Purdue University that kind of broke this down into a more succinct format of what different types of enrichment there are. So let's dive right into it. Sorry, I've been on a couple-week hiatus. Took a little bit of time away, but I'm excited to be back and to be doing another podcast. And I'm very excited about this episode because I think a lot of times, you've heard it here, you've heard it a lot of places, the word enrichment. There's starting to be more and more of a focus on enrichment in our dogs' lives, and that's a good thing. And I think it's important to understand more fully what each type of enrichment is, and it'll hopefully give you some ideas on how you can best improve your dog's life. So I'll read through the 5 different types of enrichment, and then I'll kind of break down each one and give an example or two. So the 5 types, you have social, occupational, physical, sensory, and nutritional. So when we talk about enrichment, I think a lot of times most people are thinking about the nutritional side of enrichment, like puzzle games and slow feeders and different types of those food related things. And that's one type, but there are so many others. So let's dive into the 5 different types of dog enrichment. So the first one is social. Really, you can think of this as dogs are social animals. They have been bred to be social animals, and so they need interaction with other dogs as well as other humans. They need to meet new people. They need to meet new dogs. This is not socialization. That's a completely different topic, but this is social enrichment. Your dog being able to, just like us humans, have a life and be able to have friends and meet new people and new experiences. So, just like for yourself, you go to parties or whatever to meet new people. You take your dog to a park, or you go to maybe a group training class for your dog to kind of make new friends, be able to socialize with other dogs and have that social enrichment that's so important for their minds. The second one is going to be occupational. So some dogs have real occupations. They're therapy dogs, or they are service dogs, or they're bomb sniffing dogs, or whatever it might be. But most of us, our dogs are stay-at-home dogs. They don't have an actual occupation, although we sometimes wish maybe they would, get a job and start earning money. Sorry, that was the worst dad joke, but I had to throw it in there. So occupational, if your dog has an actual job, great. But for the rest of us, it's things that are going to get them having to complete tasks and kind of problem solve. So you can think of it as things like working on fetch, or even playing sports like fly ball, or, agility, things that are going to be an actual job that they're having to accomplish things. Trick training, I believe I already said that as part of it as well. So, giving your dog something that they can work on. And if you're looking for ideas for dog sports you can get into, we've done podcast episodes with Trevor Smith. We've done an intro to dog sports course with him that's part of Pupford Academy. There are a lot of different things, resources within the Pupford ecosystem that you can use to learn more about things like dock diving, things like agility and, canicross, and all these different things, barn hunt. There's so many different things that you can do. If you're looking for a treat that'll get your dog's attention, please check out Pupford Training Treats. They are made from simple ingredients. They're low calorie, less than 1 kcal per treat, and dogs love them. And that's what's important when you're training, is something to get your dog's attention. The third type is physical. So when we talk about physical enrichment, we're not necessarily talking about exercise. Really, you can kind of think of that separately from these 5 types of enrichment. Physical is going to be, kind of think of it mostly as your dog's environment. So, what toys are readily available for them to explore and kind of make decisions on their own? What is their living area like? If your dog's often kept in a backyard, what's back there that they can use to work their time and to, kind of have a more enriching life? You can think of it as even a specific bed that's for your dog, or a place that they can go if they're feeling nervous. Sometimes it's a kennel, sometimes it's, a certain room or a certain bed. Giving your dog that physical enriching environment that's just going to be, you think for yourself, why do we put paintings on the walls? Why do we get decorations? Because it's enriching for us as humans. And there's similar concepts for our dogs, that they want things in their environment that are going to be novel and exciting for them. So you can almost think of this physical as their actual physical surroundings and not necessarily them physically doing things. So that one I think is very interesting, and there's a lot that you could try and do there. Giving an elevated bed, or even giving, if you have space in a yard, like giving something like a ramp that they can run up and down, or a sandbox for certain types of dogs that like to dig. Giving them a positive outlet in their physical environment. The fourth type is sensory enrichment. So that's going to be everything, like smells, sights, sounds. So there's a lot of things that can go along with this. And, I think it's important to not overdo it necessarily, but keep in mind that there have been studies done that show, certain smells can help our dogs feel more calm and feel more enriched. There was even there's studies around music. Certain types of music, like classical music, has been shown to help dogs relax more and maybe sleep better, and those types of things. So just thinking about how you can use all of your dog's senses, and even sights. So part of this, you could almost tie it into the physical enrichment, where you could say, what does my dog get to look at on a daily basis? There's a reason that sometimes people will put those, I don't know if you've seen kind of like the porthole looking things in their fences so that dogs can look out and see the world around them. That can be a positive and a negative, because then they might bark or they might fence guard or whatever it might be. But your dog, and that there might be instances where you can give them more things to look at and be, more visually appealing in your home or in your yard area. And the fifth type of enrichment is the one we're probably the most familiar with, and that is nutritional enrichment. Dogs, again, however you want to look at it, where they've descended from, there was hunting and foraging for food, and that is a part of what they have had to do. And now in the domesticated state, especially in current world, dogs are often just in a home, and they sit there and wait for you to open the bag and dump some food in for them, and there they have it. So finding ways to make your dog work for their food is so enriching, because it's just a natural thing that our dogs need, and it's a part of their DNA to search for their food and forage. And so utilize that. It's a powerful thing for them. And to wrap up all of these 5 different types, so again, we have social, occupational, physical, sensory, and nutritional. All of these things are going to help your dog live a better life, and in theory and ideally be better behaved also. So that can mean, as your dog is living a more enriching life and they're having this occupational enrichment where they're, working on dock diving or something, it's going to, all of those things naturally going to make your dog a better dog and make you be able to communicate with them better, and hopefully be able to, have a better behaved dog. And when we think about enrichment, these 5 types, there are things that certainly you can do every day to improve your dog's experience. I'm going to truthfully test out trying some different music when I leave my dogs. I've typically done some playlists that I have that's, hits and indie music and random things, but I might try classical music and see what difference it makes for my dog. So hopefully you have some ideas on things you can do to give your dog a more enriching and fulfilling life. Thank you so much for listening. Again, appreciate you for your patience as I was gone for a couple weeks and didn't upload episodes. I am really appreciative of the reviews that are coming in. If you enjoy this episode or this podcast as a whole, please leave a review. It is the most helpful thing that you can do to make sure that this podcast is heard by more pup parents. So please leave a review, especially on Apple Podcasts. And other than that, we will catch you on the next episode.